Munchin Thoughts, The Unknown Secret of Creation. June 26, 2007. Transcribed and typed by Munchin through the interdimensional portal. Date, June 26, 2007. My name is Munchin and I died when I was a little girl here on Earth, a while ago already, and here is what I have observed and experienced regarding the essence of that which is actually in control of creation here on Earth, which are thoughts. Everybody on Earth, all human beings think. For those that are not accustomed to the terminology of the words thoughts, which are to think here is a brief explanation. To think is, for instance, when you silently speak and communicate to yourself in your mind, in your head. This speaking and communicating to yourself in your mind is usually used when you either contemplate an event, wonder about future or past events, comment opinions of other human beings secretly so only you hear your own view of them, instead of them knowing what you are really saying about them, etc. Thoughts, thinking are the secrets that reside within human beings, turning like a Ferris wheel in the mind, the head where conversations, comments, contemplations, views, opinions and observations are constantly moving within, non-stop, an eternal Ferris wheel in movement. Also desires, wishes and dreams that are formulated in the mind, envisioned like a mirage in which one is able to experience what is called daydreaming, where your wishes, dreams and desires come alive and you are able to experience yourself within it, like a virtual reality creation. Yet, what is interesting is that which the mind creates as formulated envisioned virtual reality daydreaming, is never able to be placed exactly as an actual real experience here on Earth. The mind always makes it seem perfect. Yet when realized in the world, the scenario as the dream, wish or desire which was envisioned in the mind changes dramatically and usually ends up in disappointment or even regret. Thoughts that exist within the mind is the act of thinking being defined by human beings here on Earth as a sign that you are indeed alive. What is then actually said here is that if you communicate with yourself in your mind, your head, you are alive. And human beings have come to trust their thoughts, the act of thinking continuing in mankind as the eternal Ferris wheel in constant movement, the wheel of life in each human being and all of humanity as one turning in its eternal continuous constant cycle, stagnant yet moving at the same time. That's what human beings actually look like Ferris wheels as they constantly continuously think and remain in the act of thinking, their wheel of life remaining stagnant yet moving as they experience themselves in this world along with the rest of humanity. Also Ferris wheels in manifestation as they constantly continuously think. Remaining in the act of thinking, communicating to themselves in their mind, the Ferris wheel must continue to turn because that's the indication of them being alive and living. My question is this really living? Is this really the indication of being alive? The act of thinking and the experience of human beings in this world being defined as a Ferris wheel, in their lifetime experiencing themselves as this Ferris wheel, lodged in the earth, remaining stagnant yet constantly moving in the exact same cycle. The inevitability of boredom is certain. Human beings have placed so much trust in their thoughts and what they think, what they experience here on Earth that they do not see or realize or even take a moment to ask the question, why am I experiencing what I am experiencing? How what I am experiencing was created? Who is responsible for the events of experiences in my life, in my world? Human beings have come to accept and allow the act of thinking because it is all that has ever been known or understood as the definition of being alive. It has been the only practical example or method expressed in mankind as the accepted and allowed way of life. The way of life where human beings are stagnant yet moving Ferris wheels, stuck in the constant movement as the act of thinking. The act of thinking, the mind as the Ferris wheel and human beings on this Ferris wheel, experiencing themselves according to what their thoughts, their mind dictates, the true essence of thinking, human beings have become subject to what they think, therefore almost becoming one with the Ferris wheel in its entirety. Not realizing that human beings, as who they are being taken for a ride, the ride designed by the act of thinking, thoughts that are trusted. Human beings as who they are, is on the Ferris wheel, experiencing the ride of the Ferris wheel as the act of thinking. Where my discussion is going is to have human beings understand that you are not what you think, you are not your thoughts, and that thinking is indeed not an indication of you being alive at all. Human beings have become slaves to their thoughts, to the trust placed in the act of thinking. Human beings as who they are have been bound to the Ferris wheel as the act of thinking, turning the Ferris wheel in its eternal constant, continuous monotonous cycle as they continue to think, the thoughts forever moving within their mind. Human beings have come to define their thoughts as who and what they are, which have been the way of life and way of living of all of mankind of eons of time. Trust the little voice inside your mind. Here I am saying, stop the thoughts, stop the eternal cycle of the continuous movement of the Ferris wheel as the act of thinking. Stop and discover that, I am still here. Climb off the Ferris wheel and walk beyond it, turn around and never look back at the Ferris wheel, the act of thinking. Here is where life is born. Here is the true expression of living, when you go beyond the fear of losing yourself, when you stop the Ferris wheel, when you stop the thoughts, when you stop the act of thinking and become silent and hear. Here in this silence within is where you start redesigning, rebuilding, and express the true nature of who you are and not the nature of consciousness thinking, enslaved in systematic Ferris wheel thought constructed monotonous expressions, experiencing the same shit over and over and over again in your life. Observe yourself in every moment as you go about your day-to-day events, notice your behaviors, the words you speak, the thoughts that run in your mind, that turn in your mind, and see how many behaviors have become habits, how many actions and reactions have become habits, how many thoughts you have during the day are similar in nature, the exact same thoughts reoccurring in your mind almost every single day of unresolved issues. How many emotions and feelings are connected to the exact same thoughts you have during your daily experiences. Notice these occurrences within you and you will most definitely be able to paint a picture of who and what you are. You will find that you actually know more about yourself than you are actually able to conceive if you but take a moment and look within yourself, at the truth of who you have allowed and accepted yourself to become. It'll actually be quite frightening when you start to realize what it is that you are allowing going on inside you. Habits are the outward projection of your personality, who you have accepted and allowed yourself to become, so ingrained that you never consider asking yourself the questions, who am I? Why am I who I am? Who or what made me become who I am? How exactly did I become who I am? You don't notice how your words, your thoughts, your behaviors, your actions and reactions are busy designing, formulating and creating your world. No one has realized that they are indeed busy formulating, designing and creating their entire world, life experience in every moment of participation in the act of thinking. You don't notice because you are so preoccupied with the act of thinking within you, so preoccupied that you are blinded by habits becoming the specific way you live and participate in this world, and not taking a moment to realize that you are responsible for what you experience in this world. The words no one seems to want to hear, you are responsible for yourself and what you design as the experience of yourself in this world. You are going to have to face yourself sooner or later, whether sorting yourself out here on earth or in heaven. There's no way anyone will be able to deny, resist, run away or hide from themselves. Who you have allowed and accepted yourself to become, simply seen in your thoughts, in the act of thinking, is right here in your face. There's no other way of supporting yourself to stop the Ferris wheel, stop the thoughts and stop the act of thinking, but to face yourself in every moment if you choose to experience who you really are. To experience life, to experience what it really means to live. How are you able to live if you are stuck on a Ferris wheel, sitting there going in continuous cycles, round and round and round? Impossible. That's the experience of all human beings on Earth, because all human beings think. All of humanity stuck on the Ferris wheel as the act of thinking and are remaining there because they have gone and defined themselves as who they are according to the Ferris wheel, according to what they think and feel, the apparent definition of being alive. Too fearful of considering stopping the Ferris wheel, stopping the act of thinking, because fear of losing who you are exist, fear of losing the safety, security and control when on the Ferris wheel exist. The reason why human beings continue with the act of thinking and remaining on the Ferris wheel, fear of loss. And what else supports human beings to remain in their safe, secure and controlled environment as their world, who and what they are and have become as their consciousness existence of the Ferris wheel, the rest of the world, the entire world have been constructed, designed and placed to have human beings remain on the Ferris wheel, remain slaves to the act of thinking, remain enslaved to thoughts as they become what they think, as they become the act of thinking as who and what they are. To the point where human beings would probably inform me, so what if I think, my life is fine as it is? No, it is not. The consequences of the act of thinking and remaining on the Ferris wheel as you become the slave to what you think and what exist within you as the emotions and feelings you experience, have not yet been taken into consideration by anyone in this world. Human beings have become more primitive than the expression abilities that exist in nature and the animal kingdom. You may try and control your existence, the experience of yourself here on Earth amongst other human beings to a certain extent, that have succumbed to an existence of survival human beings, but you are not able to control the expressions of nature, the expression of the animal kingdom, where God exists. God as one exists here, in all of existence, as all of existence has not realized that who each human being really is God. Everyone is waiting for themselves. This is what must be realized. How thoughts create, the unknown secret of creation. The unknown secret because no one yet completely understands how thoughts create and how we are responsible for what we experience in this world through the act of thinking. No one yet experienced life, no one yet experienced living, it has not yet existed because everyone has been stuck on the Ferris wheel in the act of thinking, remaining in the exact same monotonous life cycles, moving yet remaining stagnant in the experience of themselves here on Earth. We have to take responsibility for ourselves, meaning we have to stop the Ferris wheel, stop the act of thinking, stop the thoughts and climb off the Ferris wheel and transcend the fear of losing ourselves. Losing the apparent safety, security and control of the Ferris wheel/act of thinking experience provide for us to be able to make a difference to the current nature of mankind. What will become of us when we stop and climb off the Ferris wheel? We will grant ourselves the opportunity to discover life, to discover experiences, to discover expressions of who we are and live as we walk away and never look back, to never return to the act of thinking, stuck and enslaved on the Ferris wheel. Because we will no longer be subject to the act of thinking and thoughts to define who we are and what we become, we will stand alone, released from the Ferris wheel and have the opportunity to express who we are. Human beings are really like this analogy I am describing, therefore, be sure to know that you will not lose yourself when you stop the Ferris wheel as the act of thinking and climb off. You will actually discover who you really are. Right, how exactly thoughts create is quite a fascinating process. We have during the process of interdimensional communication explained consciousness systems, the systems that have been implanted and infused in human beings' physical bodies the moment they are born and through others' examples as they grow up in this world. They mold and design who and what they become through others' examples. Molding and designing who and what they become from others' copied examples according to their own characteristic preferences. Therefore, human beings, as who and what they are exactly similar in nature because of the copying of others' examples, yet differ slightly because they design and mold the copied examples according to their own preferences of how they would like to express and experience the copied examples. The personality of beings as who and what they become is the entire consciousness system within them. The thoughts generating the emotions and feelings as expressions and experiences within human beings are the power source of the consciousness systems having human beings remain on the Ferris wheel for the remainder of their lives. That's what the Ferris wheel consists of, the entire consciousness system as who and what human beings have become, and what makes it go round in its continuous monotonous cycle are the thoughts and emotions and feelings. Who you are sitting on the Ferris wheel as the consciousness system within you is experiencing the designs and creations of the consciousness systems. You experience the Ferris wheel to which you are enslaved and subject to who and what you become. Here is the platform of the origination of thoughts as they exist within human beings, in their mind, and in their head. Human beings are being taken for a ride, literally, because who you are sits back on the Ferris wheel while you allow the Ferris wheel as the consciousness system within you to design and create the experiences of yourself here on Earth through the act of thinking, generating emotions and feelings within you as you allow yourself to define who and what you are according to consciousness systems, the act of thinking, you apparently being defined as alive. As you sit on the Ferris wheel, as you experience your life, all sorts and kinds of events, circumstances, occurrences and experiences kind of fall on your lap, whether they be defined as handed to you on a golden platter or a pile of garbage being dumped on you. you have to deal with what comes your way. Yet, what comes your way as sudden events, circumstances, occurrences and experiences which spin your life into turmoil or support you in your life here on earth, has all been prepared, designed and created beforehand. You just walked into what you have already designed and created through your participation in the act of thinking, generating emotions and feelings which allow the consciousness system Ferris wheel to remain in its monotonous cyclic movement. Is this how you would like to experience yourself, human beings? Having sudden events, circumstances, occurrences and experiences take place for which you had no way of preparing yourself, whether the experience be heaven or hell defined as it just suddenly falls into your lap saying, "Here now you deal with it." Using religion, family, friends, your job and other outer manifestations to blame or become angry with or frustrated with for what you are experiencing in your life. Waiting or searching for someone or something or even a solution to solve what you are experiencing in your life here on earth? Why do you continuously fight with yourself, with your life, with others, and with your religion or God and blame and judge outer manifestations for what you are experiencing instead of realizing that the responsibility is in your own two hands? But oh yes, human beings believe they are apparently powerless, inferior, weak and unworthy to realize that they have the ability to stand up and finally stop what they are experiencing in their world, in their life amongst all other human beings in this world. The inherent belief within all of humanity I see, accepting and allowing an existence of constant struggle, strife, fighting and battle within and throughout their life and with others as they sit on this Ferris wheel as the heaven or hell defined events, circumstances, occurrences and experiences fall on their laps to have to deal with. Sad, very sad. Actually rather disappointing that human beings have accepted and allowed an existence of survival, of greed, of motivated need for more power and control. Enough with the painting of the picture of systematic human robots, which you have become. Returning to thoughts. This is how thoughts, along with the generating of emotions and feelings create in this world, I have recently come to understand time. Time is also a systematic construct of consciousness movement. Time is the equation, the geometrical structured manifestation here on earth of consciousness systems movement. Meaning the calculation of the movement of a thought within you, the movement from the thought to the generation of emotions and feelings and then the manifestation thereof in this world as the experience you have of that which you have designed through the act of thinking. I am starting by explaining what occurs within the human being and how from their designed manifested experiences due to the act of thinking are created in each human being's individual world. The consciousness systems in human beings are designed as follows. The thought centers exist in the bones that are allocated at the top of your spine, the top section where your head and your neck combine. There are two bones and in these two bones is where the consciousness thought generators are manifested. The question probably asked is, where do thoughts come from? During birth you are infused with a consciousness system which consists of a conscious, subconscious and unconscious mind. The moment you are fully grown, with all functions in the mother's womb before birth, you connect to the unconscious mind of all of humanity as one together. This ensuring that you are able to automatically apply yourself in growing up as a normal child in this world. For instance, just knowing you have to drink the mother's milk, how to drink the mother's milk, and how to start crawling and walking, etc. All the information pertaining to the collective humanity is downloaded into you. Your subconscious mind connect to that of the mother's subconscious mind, meaning the mother's personality and programmed behaviors, interpretations and participations of and in this world and her life, including all the other human beings in her world gets downloaded into you.